Morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. It is the 11th of May, right? Yeah, I'm checking it. I'm like, yeah, it is May 11th today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here in a couple of more seconds. And this is going to be recorded, so I will send out a copy of this to all of you in the group message as well. So thank you so much for those of you tuning in. And for those that are listening to the replay, thank you so much for also watching and listening. And my intention, I'm going to start with an intention of why I'm doing this meeting on a weekly basis. Well, it's to keep you empowered, to be inspired and resourceful, to be the greatest benefit to everyone, right? You want to be informed when you speak with your customers. You want to know what's happening in reality. You want to understand what's going on with the market, because there's a lot of noise outside of our industry, with the media. And my intention is just to keep you informed, really, keep you guys empowered and in action. So one of the things that I typed here is that fear will paralyze you or propel you. And I was really contemplating on this subject because one of the things that I've done with fear in my life, because I do experience fear, even though a lot of people think that I don't have any fear. A lot of the times, because I'm speaking in front of public, or I do videos, or I'm constantly putting myself in situations. And I'm like, how do you not have fear? And the answer is that I do experience fear. I just don't allow it to paralyze me. And one of the things that used to paralyze me in the past was that speaking in public. I was one that never wanted to be on stage, that didn't want to do a video. I even thought about, before I was even going to put a text post on my Facebook, I didn't even want to do that, because the voice in my head was like, well, if you post something there, what if somebody agrees or somebody disagrees, or what if somebody says this, or what if somebody says that? And it's a fear of not being able to handle what comes across, right? It's a fear of not being able to handle the question or the comment or whatever the case is. And fear, because we think about all these things before we even take an action, will stop you. It will literally stop you. And it's the same thing when you're getting on the phones. When you get on the phones prospecting, one of the things that I'm really good at is just getting rejected. And I don't have any sort of emotional experience around it anymore, because I allow my fear to propel me. I define fear as excitement, because it's the same, it's around the same emotion. When you feel that fear, you kind of feel like, some sort of, energy running through your body. Well, let's redefine fear as excitement. And when you have fear come to you, allow the fear to then thrust you in the direction that you want to go into, versus it's stopping you, because that's what's going to get you to be successful in real estate, right? You're going to have to pick up the phone. You're going to have to send out that text message. You're going to have to follow up. And you realize that every single time that you do something like that, you're being stopped, or you're being, paralyzed in that moment before you send out that text to follow up. Because I get it. I talk to people all the time. They're like, well, what if I follow up? What if I annoy them? There's no such thing, because the right person will appreciate your diligence, right? Think about whenever you purchase something in your life, whether it be a car or some sort of product, and you have a salesperson on the other side that's very diligent, very professional, and is following up. And if you have an interest of purchasing and making that purchase, you're going to automatically respect that salesperson. You're going to say, you know what, this person is about their business. This person is professional. So that's exactly what you want to do. Apply this to sales and to your business, but this can apply to anything, right? Anything that you want in life. Allow the fear to propel you. Allow the fear to, create it into excitement, and take the action anyway. So that's my Monday thought of what I had. I wrote it down this morning. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I'm like, you want to just keep taking action. So the next slide. Here is your weekly market update. And this is what happened in 1 week. Again, I'm keeping you up to date with what's going on every single week. And this week in LA County, we have over 10,000 homes available. So we did increase in inventory. San Bernardino County, we have 4,483 homes. Orange County, we have 4,813 homes. Riverside County, we have 6,662 homes. So LA and Riverside take the first and the second slot there for most homes on the market. And you can see that pending, we have 5,300 in LA, 2,800 in San Bernardino, 2,000 in Orange County, 3,800 in Riverside. And closings, that actually went down pretty, by about 300 properties. Closings, we only had 575, and I say only, but I mean, that's still a pretty good chunk of homes, 575 homes. Average price went at 856, and average days on the market is 30 days. And that's what happened in LA County. Volume is 492 million closed. So it did go down by 220 million from last week, but still, that's a half $500 million in real estate that just sold in LA County. And then we have San Bernardino County, 281 homes sold. Average price is 384, 107 million in volume, also down by 40 million. So that county also went down. And in Riverside, 385 homes, $456,000 average price point, 39 days on the market on average, 175 million on volume, down by 40 million as well. And in Orange County, 262 homes closed, 941,000 the average price, 35 days in the market, and 246 million closed. It's also down by 20 million. But still, even all of these different counties are down in sales, but you can all, add up, half a billion in LA, 100 in San Bernardino, another 246 in Orange and Riverside. You're looking at, that's roughly another $1 billion in real estate that just closed in our marketplace. So is there business for you out there? Absolutely. There's definitely business. And, look at the pendings. There's a ton of pending properties, over almost 6,000 homes just in LA County. So just get out there and get business. Keep your clients informed. The market's still moving. Interest rates are still good. And I'm going to move on to the next slide here, the expireds. So last week we had 223 homes expired. So that's 400 less. And that's because in the beginning of the month, we definitely do have about 2-3 times the amount of expired. So that's pretty normal, 223. So that means that there's a lot of homeowners out there that need your help. So get on the phone, send them a text message, get in conversation with them because they need your help, and educate them with the proper information, because if they listen to the media, they're probably panicking and taking their homes off market. But you got to educate them, let them know things are still moving and they need to put their home on the market if they're thinking of selling. Foreclosures. This number, all of the numbers went down for foreclosures as well. They did say that they were going to be postponing the foreclosures, but I'm keeping an eye on it regardless on a weekly basis. Riverside County, we had 1,420 homes in pre-foreclosure, so that number went down. 1,218 homes in pre-foreclosure, also down. 3,490 in LA, 949 in Orange. All of these numbers are down in pre-foreclosure status. But after this whole thing moves on, right, and all these these establishments starts to be open and people start going back to work, these individuals are still in trouble. So it just means that they're pushing this stuff out for the future. So this is something we want to definitely keep an eye on. And I'm still reporting on April. We had 2 homes that sold in auction in April, 18 in San Bernardino, 21 in LA, and 7 in Orange. That's all very low numbers. I also looked at what's scheduled to sell, right? And I'm measuring it on a weekly basis. So all of the numbers also went down. We still have 204 in May in Riverside scheduled, 268 in San Bernardino, 651 and 174 in the different counties. But all of these numbers are down. So it looks like they are postponing these properties. But if you look at these numbers again, they're being postponed. So what's going to happen when everything opens up again? These are all properties and all homeowners that need your help as well. So it's in your best interest to go out there, talk to them, write them letters, knock on their door, but really get in a conversation with them, because a lot of these individuals, what you also find is that they will have equity. So these become immense opportunities as well. The next slide here, we look at the current numbers for EXP. We have stock at $8.87 a share. It's up from last week as well. Agent count increased as well. We have 3,375. We're almost at the 30,000 agent mark. So I'm going to once we do that, I'm going to make sure to make a huge announcement. That's a big threshold that we're breaking there. And yeah, the stock looks solid. I mean, think about everything that's going on in the economy, and our stock only continues to go up. That's a really good sign. Interest rates as well, and anywhere from 3 to 3.5%. That didn't change too much. It pretty much stayed the same. And my living calendar, as most of you already know, you have my living calendar, but just make sure to remind you because I still get messages here and there, like checking my availability. This is the easiest way. You just go to my Calendly living calendar. It's on my link tree as well. So you can just go ahead and book a call with me, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. If you need me to talk to someone, you need a coaching call, whatever it is you guys need, you can go ahead and book it directly from there. It's the simplest way. And the events that are coming up for this week, we have, this weekly market update, the revenue share mastermind also on Wednesday. If you're interested in growing your rev share group, that'll be Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And on Friday, we have an EXP introduction, like every Friday at 10. So make sure that if you do have anybody in your life that is interested in learning more about EXP, I am going to be doing an introduction, and I'm bringing on a special guest on Friday as well. So it's going to be really powerful. On average, I've been having 20 to 30 people show up on a weekly basis. So they're very, very good. People are asking questions. And we had 3 people that just signed up last week from that introduction. So make sure you get in conversation with agents out there and, anybody that is liking your stuff, get in conversation, find out how they're doing, and invite them over to learn about the fastest growing company in the history of real estate. And Built for This is also a great show. We have this Saturday, a really great event because we have a special speaker that is an author that wrote, I think it's Chicken Soup for the Soul, I believe. We have a really good speaker, so don't quote me on it. I'm going to make sure I post about it. But we're going to have a really awesome speaker at 9 o'clock on Saturday. But that's just another opportunity for you to invite people that you may know as well. And it's also good for you to just stay in touch with what's happening in our industry and from the top leaders, because Scott Lewis, Brent Gove, Gene Frederick, and Rob Flick, which are the 4 biggest leaders at EXP, every Saturday they're speaking to us in their entire group. So I love their leadership, and they're bringing really extraordinary people to the forefront on a weekly basis. And this past week we just had Sheila Fairjean, which is she's the 4th highest paid lady at EXP, and she is extraordinary. If you haven't heard her story, make sure you look on my Facebook wall. I recorded the entire thing, so you can go ahead and tune in and listen to her story. Her name is Sheila Fairjean. And they had another gal also that's a newer agent that has a pretty large rev share group of 135 agents. And she was just talking about how this company changed your life. So make sure you're tuning in, inspiring yourself, and also learning a little bit more. So I want you to ask yourself this question. What are you going to create? What are you going to declare? How many listings? How many open escrows? How many closings? How many agents are you going to attract? Get really specific and make sure that you're following your calendar. Get really specific on that. And who are you creating yourself to be as a possibility, right? Who I am is the possibility of being empowered and resourceful. Those are 2 words, right? Or positive and enthusiastic, or excited and extraordinary, whatever words you pick. But make sure you bring these words to the forefront of whatever you're doing, because your words create your world. So make sure that when you're having conversations with individuals on the phone, when you're sending out a text, think about what is the possibility you're creating, and are your words creating or are your words destroying? And make sure you stay in tune with that possibility when you're in conversation with your loved ones, the people that are closest to you, because that's where I find that there's a lot of material for us to develop is with the people that we have in our lives, because they're the closest to us. So if you find yourself getting maybe a little bit triggered or something, remember your possibility. Who are you being? Are you being peaceful, loving, enthusiastic, energetic? And whatever the case is, make sure you're bringing that forth. So just pick your top 2 words for the week. That way you create that possibility, and we have an amazing week, right? So what's your focus? Create your day. And this is game changer. You don't want to create your day the day of. You want to make sure that your day is already planned out a day ahead of time. So make sure you're looking at your calendar, at night, and plan it out. And if you have gaps in your day, make sure you squeeze in lead generation activities. And then once you actually create your day and you show up in the morning, make sure you follow your plan. Allow that to dictate your day, and show up, get dressed, and get ready for work. Because one of the things that I will tell you is, because a lot of us are working from home now, if you don't show up and you don't feel good, like you actually feel like there's a difference from you being in bed and you being in your home office, you're not going to be inspired to do the same activity. So like one of the things that I do, I'm weird. I fully dress, and I make my coffee. I'm doing my morning meditation. I'm doing all of my things that I normally would do when I would drive to the office, but now I'm cutting, 30 minutes on the morning. But, in the morning, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to the office, and then I close my door, and I'm here, and I'm focused. Keep yourself in an empowering state, because everything revolves around this. That's really essential, right? Because you can have the best plan, the best intentions, and if you don't feel good, then nothing is going to get accomplished. So make sure you're keeping yourself in an empowered state. Increase conversations. This is like one of the things that you really got to focus on in the production. I'll have coaching calls all the time. Like, well, I tried this, I tried that, I tried this, I tried that. And then once I actually look and audit the time, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever you just mentioned, that accounted for about 45 minutes of actual production for the entire week. What did you do with the rest of the week? And we really don't take the time to audit our time. So really make sure that you are auditing your time and increasing the conversations, because let's really focus on what's real. If you focus on increasing conversation, you will increase your production, period. And the thing is that the compound effect of you doing that on a daily basis will compound and grow your business, but it's not going to happen, and when you do it once in a while, because then you're going to have a once in a while type of business. If you want to have a consistent business, then you need to have consistent conversations every single day to feed the top of the funnel with new buyers and new sellers. That's your only job as a real estate agent, is to have conversations with buyers and conversations with sellers. Integrity is a huge thing, right? Just bring integrity to what you're doing, because the interesting thing about our mind is that it listens to us and it gives us everything we need, right? If we say we want to buy a red Panamera, you're all of a sudden going to start to see red Panameras everywhere. You're going to start to see this car, in multiple places. And that's how it is. When you focus and you actually put that connection forward, you'll start to notice these things. So what starts to happen, though, if you say, I'm going to sign a listing today and I'm going to have 30 conversations, and if you don't actually show up to that activity, what's going to end up happening is that your mind will stop listening to you. Your mind will stop listening to you. And so you want to make sure that you're utilizing your mind for that, right? Show up to the activity that you created, because if you create an activity and you don't show up to it, your mind is going to stop listening to you. Also, social media, make sure you're posting. Make sure you're posting, because a lot of people don't know that you're in the business. And if you don't let them know that you're in the business, they will not contact you. So you make sure you put your daily post and do your digital door knocking with KV Core, text blast and create campaigns. And there's hundreds of videos in KV Core. I mean, one of the ways that I learned KV Core is literally looking at all those videos and implementing them. Don't be afraid of taking the action and not being correct. Be empathetic and see, and really when you're in conversation with people, come from a place of contribution, come from a place that you're there to serve, and the business will follow. Make sure you're exercising, push-ups, jumping jacks, sit-ups, stretch, whatever, running up and down the stairs, whatever the case is. One of my favorite activities to do right now is riding a bike. I'm like going out every single day, riding my bike, and I get out in nature, I make my blood flow, and I just feel much better. So make sure you're doing something like that. And then meditate. Meditate is another thing that I do. I just sit quietly for 10 minutes a day, and that is where I get a lot of my ideas, believe it or not. And when I quiet the mind, I start to get present. I'm like, and I get somebody's name, or I get an idea, and then as soon as I'm done with my meditation, I write it, or I contact that person, and then it ends up being a massive opportunity. So make sure you meditate quiet your mind a little bit. And I think that is it for the meeting. Yes, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're re-watching this, this is recorded, so I'm going to go ahead and send it over to you. But thank you so much for tuning in. And I intend that you create an amazing day.